G'day. I'm going to tell a few stories and play some didge for you today. This first one, this track is inspired by a cave up in North Queensland in Australia. There's a cave system in a place called Chillago. It's out in the central western Queensland. It's very dry country. And there's a cave there called Pompeii Cave. And it's not a very big cave, but it's got a giant collapse chamber. What that basically means is the roof of this cave has fallen in. And daylight has crept into the cave, and mosses have grown on the rock, and the colours of this cave are beautiful. Oranges and greens and pinks. And I've got a didge at home. It's my favourite didge. It never travels with me because I could not bear for it to be damaged. And I call that didge Pompeii because it has the same colour as the mosses and the colour of the rock in that cave. And this first song, I also call Pompeii. It's the first track on my CD, Cloud Hands. And I named the song after that didge because that didge loves to play this song. Thank you. Thanks very much. This next song, well, let me tell you a little story. Hang on, I'll just grab this microphone. Where I live is in the forest in Australia, just outside of Melbourne in the south. And I live on a cooperative. You might know it as a commune. But it's not your average commune. This commune is all about conserving the forest. Between us, we own about 150 hectares of native forest. And in that forest, we've got all the native animals you'd expect to find there in this part of Australia. There's one in particular. He's a funny little fella. He kind of likes to live in houses, like we do. So you find them trying to live in your roof spaces and in the spare room or in the cupboard. And they're quite brave. They come out in the evening and pick up the crumbs off your bench and in the kitchen. And they're about this big with a long feathery tail. And they're a bit rare. They're not endangered, but there's not a lot of them. And they have funny little movements. They look a little bit like a rat, only a little bigger and a little cuter. But they hop. They don't run, they hop. And they have these funny jerky movements where they hop, hop, and then they have a look around, and then they hop a bit more and have another look around. And I've watched them many a time hopping around our kitchen. And it's called a tuen. It's a marsupial. And it's a cute little fella. And watching him one night, I just had to play along to his movement. The way he was running around was quite inspiring. So I call this song Tuen. And while I'm playing, think about this little animal that runs or hops around with jerky little movements and stops to look around every so often. Thank you. Here we go, another story. Sometimes you need three hands. Number of years ago, oh God, it is a number of years ago now, my wife and I spent 2 years travelling around Australia. We were going to come over to Europe for the Olympics in Barcelona, but we kind of got caught up having a look at our own country. It's a bit hard to come overseas and have lots of people ask you all about Australia and not having seen it. So we thought we'd better see Australia first. And out in the desert, it's a beautiful place, but it gets very hot. You know, it starts off in the morning and it's really cool. But as the day goes on, it gets hotter and hotter and hotter. Eventually it starts to cool down again. But if you're traveling through the desert, as the day gets hotter, it gets harder to travel. Whether you be in car or on foot, whatever, the heat is oppressive. And you can imagine going up the dunes and down the dunes and up the dunes and down the dunes. And that's what this song's about. Close your eyes if you feel like it and picture yourself out in the desert with those sand dunes, climbing up them and down them, the day getting hotter, the work getting harder. This is called Desert Song, and I dedicate it to my wife. Wrong didge. Thank you. Wow, it's hot enough up here to be in the desert. This is a new one. It doesn't have a title yet, but we'll funk it up a little bit and speed things up a little. Thanks. Thank you. This next song is actually not one of mine. Charlie McMahon showed me this a couple of years ago. We did a couple of performances as Charlie's Didge Orchestra with a couple of other didge players, and this rhythm just stuck in my head. It suited the style I played, and I could not get away from it, so I do it in concert. I give all thanks to Charlie. It's a marvellous little riff, and from memory he called it Derpin. But yeah, this is one of Charlie's. Thanks. How many people here play didge? Funny question, really. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay, how many people here own a dog as well as play didge? Not the dog playing didge, you play didge and then you own a dog. Nobody. Okay, fair enough. Well, I'll tell you a story. Animals and didgeridoos sometimes do strange things together. A couple of years ago, I was in Switzerland at a festival there, and somebody had a pet raccoon. I don't know what it is auf Deutsch, but in English it's a raccoon. And it's a cute little animal. And I was playing didge. We were having a jam after the concert, and I was playing. And all of a sudden, my didge started to sound very dull and dead. And I opened my eyes, and this raccoon was stuffing its head up the bottom of my didgeridoo, trying to see what was going on. I put my leg out, and it ran up my leg and had a look here and then ran back down again. It was fascinated, absolutely fascinated by the sound. And dogs are sometimes a bit the same. You get dogs that, you know, great big dogs that go running off with their tail between their legs when they hear a didgeridoo. I've had German shepherds try and chew the end of my didge while I'm playing, and cattle dogs, Australian cattle dogs, tend to be really freaked out by it. But I've also had some really exceptional experiences with things that aren't pets. Quite a while ago, I was sitting with a friend of mine. We were having a didge jam out the front of his homestead. And his homestead was on a property of, 110,000 acres, which, at a rough estimate, is a bit over 40,000 hectares. And the home paddock, the paddock around the homestead, was a couple of hundred acres. And that's where they had 35 horses running in that paddock. And we were sitting in the front yard of the house, and we looked up, and 2 emus had come right across this paddock, probably through 200 or 300 metres of clear ground. 2 wild emus had come right up to the fence, maybe 5 metres away from us, and they were looking over at what this sound was. And they'd come right out of the forest to check us out, and once we stopped, they took off again. Well, about 6-7 years ago now, I was playing didge up at Catherine Gorge. I was just sitting out in the campground playing. And you probably noticed I play with my eyes closed most of the time, and I opened my eyes. 4 blue-winged kookaburras had landed within a metre of me. I swear I could reach out and touch any of them. And they were there I hope they were there to listen to me play. But certainly I've never had 4 kookaburras come and land anywhere near me when I haven't been playing didge. And so this song's for those kookaburras. This is called Kookaburra. I have to say though, blue-winged kookaburras don't laugh like the laughing kookaburra does. There's 2 types of kookaburra in Australia, the laughing kookaburra and the blue-winged kookaburra. I've used a bit of poetic license here because what I'm actually playing is a song about laughing kookaburras, but I love those 4 guys that came down and sat with me. Thank you. Haha, another story, folks. I got an old four-wheel drive. It's a really old four-wheel drive. It's a bomb. It was made in 1982, and there's more rust in it than there is metal. But we don't have quite the same strict laws that you have here about roadworthiness and things like that, and so I'm still able to drive my old 1982 Land Cruiser full of rust around town with, sort of an unknown colour of paint on it, mainly red from the rust. But years ago, when we first got it, it was a magnificent vehicle. It took us all around Australia. It took me up north a few times getting logs for my didges. And I live down in the south of Australia. I live in Melbourne, which is just outside of Melbourne. That's right in the south. Where I get my timber from to make my didgeridoos is right in the north. It's about 3,500 kilometres from where I live. And if you do it smart, it's a 4-day drive. But the most direct route takes you right up through the middle of Queensland and New South Wales, sort of what we'd call the outback a little bit. Or maybe the near outback, how's that? But some of those roads are dirt. And this old Land Cruiser has quite a number of rattles and bangs. And I remember this one particular road quite well. It's a beautiful stretch of road. It's about 300 kilometres of gravel and dirt road. And it runs roughly between a place called Emerald and a place called Charters Towers in the north of Queensland. And that 300 kilometres of dirt, well, the radio doesn't play all that well out there because there's no radio stations to listen to. And you get to start getting didgeridoo rhythms happening in your head while you drive along, and the rattles and bumps and bangs of my four-wheel drive as it went across the corrugations kind of inspired this rhythm. And so I actually named this rhythm after the road, which, well, it was called the Gregory Development Road. And it might be a long name for a song, but that's what I'm calling it, the Gregory Development Road. And just imagine my old four-wheel drive rattling along in time to this. Thank you. Okay, this is my last song. Out where I live, we also have these absolutely beautiful animals called a black-faced wallaby, or a black-faced swamp wallaby. They stand about this high and they have dark colours, dark brown and ginger colours and little white patches near their eyes. They really are beautiful, and we see them all around our house, or individually we see them around our house all the time. This one's called Wallaby. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hallöchen alle miteinander. Ja, Bruce Rogers, nochmal einen kräftigen Applaus bitte. Yeah, Bruce Rogers, da ist er nochmal für uns.
Sorry, I left my water backstage and I can't play without my water. Most didge players complain about ending up with a pool of dribble at the end of their didge every time they play. I'm the opposite. I end up with a mouth like the Sahara Desert every time I play. It gets really dry, so I can't go anywhere without this. And where I live, we have nice pure rainwater to drink. Thank you. Thank you very much.